you doing?
I'm so-so. How about you?
Okay, I'm here to see Dr. Michaels. I'm early, so I'm killing time.
You know what? When I first walked in here, I thought you were Sabrina coming to work on the mural. You and Seth get things straightened out since I saw you?
Wedding's off, Casey.
What? Well, why?
It's real complicated, that's all. It's just...
Oh. You wanna sit down?
Oh, yeah, sure. Listen, have you talked to Lila?
No, not that I don't want to. She's just busy, you know.
Oh, call her, Casey. Just call her. Tell her you're thinking about her. Tell her you miss her. Don't waste any time. Things can change really quickly.
Yeah, well, frankly, I don't think she wants to hear from me.
If that's so, then let her tell you, but just call her. Don't let pride stand in the way.
Well, I can see that's advice from the... I'll take it. Yeah, Lila Montgomery's room, please.
Oh. Shannon, your phone is driving me crazy. Now, are you going to answer it or not?
No, because I know it's Duncan. And I don't think I know what to say to him right yet.
Forgive me.
Do you really think I should answer it?
Honey, I can't advise you. I don't know the whole story.
Oh, Lisa. Part of me thinks nothing else matters except the fact that I love him. But another part of me is having a really hard time accepting his unconventional side.
Look, the rest of the world considers me a hopeless romantic, okay? But I must confess to you that I have never been so happy as I am with your Uncle Earl. And he certainly is not a conventional man by any standards at all. Shannon, half the time, I don't know where he is. And I don't like that. But I trust him. And I would rather be with him half the time than no time at all. What I'm really trying to get is you have to ask yourself the question, do I really love Duncan? Or can I be happy without him? And if your answer is no, I cannot be happy without him, then, well, to hell with the secret. You just go on and follow your heart. Well, sweetheart. Wait a minute, Hey, Shannon, where are you going?
To the man I love. To hell with convention.
Where's Shannon?
Of course the hair samples matched. Stenbeck had plenty of time after he knocked me out to cut off some hair and plant it under Cromwell's fingernails for your Florida cohorts to find. I want to remind you, I gave you that hair voluntarily. I had nothing to hide.
Duncan, I have to advise you not to say any more until we've had a moment to consult.
Well, you can consult with him all you want. In the meantime, I got a search warrant to go over every inch of this premises. Let's go.
Well, that's just fine. You can search till you're blue in the face. Meanwhile, the real criminal is running around free.
Bruno, you go downstairs with the men. Search down there. Wilkie, keep looking up here.
There are secret compartments in every room. The castle's full of them.
Duncan, can we please have a moment in your study?
Okay, what's this?
Aye, that's my great-great-great-grandfather's hiding place. You won't find anything there.
Oh, yeah? You better take a look at this.
Well, it's the box the Falcon uses as his calling card. With the ruckle in place.
Obviously planted.
All right, McKechnie, you're under arrest for suspicion of murder of Captain Nigel Cromwell. The Constitution says I have to read you your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Do you understand? Anything you say may be used against you in a court of law. Do you understand? You have a right to an attorney.
Good morning, Grandmother.
Good morning, Sabrina, dear. May I get you some coffee?
No, thank you. Did Father tell Mother what happened?
I don't think so. Franny asked him not to. Besides, he was at the hospital on that emergency all night long.
I wanted to tell her myself last night, but she didn't get in till 1. She was exhausted.
Yes, it's strange for Kim to sleep.
Georgina, have Montgomery's room, please. No, I'll wait. Line's busy.
Listen, I have to go see Dr. Michaels. So good luck.
Thanks. I think I need it.
Oh, Casey, listen, you love Lila. She loves you. Just don't let anything mess it up. It's as simple as that.
Well, I wish it was. Then maybe I could do something for you, too.
I'll be okay. Give her my best.
I will. Yeah, I'm still waiting. Thanks.
Hello?
Is this Lila Montgomery's room?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I'd like to speak to her, please.
Well, I'm sorry, she can't come to the phone right now. Can I take a message?
Oh, why can't she come to the phone?
Well, she's, shall we say, indisposed. Who is this?
Now, who is this, and what do you mean indisposed?
She's in the shower, and this is Tony Waldron, her musical arranger.
Oh, really? Well, if she's in the shower, what the hell are you doing in her room, bub?
I'm just trying to get her ready for her opening next week. She and I have been joined at the hip ever since she hit New York. Well, Lila, you better take this before the guy on the other end is a jealous coronary.
Hello? He hung up.
Darling, I've missed you more than I can tell you.
Have you, James?
Yes, I have. And I'm going to rid you of all those senseless doubts that made you run away from me in the first place.
It's too late for that, James. Look, James, I know you didn't follow me back to Oakdale because you love me. You came back here because you can't stand the thought of anybody leaving you. You want to control me just like you control everybody else in your life.
That's not true.
It's not true. If that's not true, then why do you threaten me? Why do you threaten to have me arrested for the murder of Nigel Cromwell? Why?
I just needed time to convince you that we belong together. I would have never gone through this.
You know, James, I really wish I could believe that. I just know you too well. I know how vengeful you are. You would rather see me spend the rest of my life in prison than to see me leave you. But there's gonna come a day when they find out who really did kill Nigel Cromwell. And then you won't have anything to threaten me with. What are you gonna do then?
You're not here because I threatened you. You're here because we love each other and we belong together.
Emily, I was out on the boat and I saw you drive up. I'm glad you could make it.
So am I. I'm glad I came up.
Why don't you two go down to the lake and we'll row in the boat, all right?
Sure.
Okay, have fun.
Okay.
Be careful.
Drive up.
Yes?
Like clockwork, boss. They just arrested McKechnie upon suspicion of murder. Not only do they think that he killed Cromwell, they're all convinced he's the Falcon. The ruckle in the box did the trick, just like you said.
Well, I hope you planted it where your colleagues didn't have any trouble finding it.
Are you kidding? I found it. There's going to be a commendation in this for me. But listen, what's Emily going to think now that McKechnie's been arrested for Cromwell's death?
Don't worry about Emily. I'll handle her. What concerns me now is Franny Hughes' sister from England. She saw me the first night I was up here.
Maybe it was too dark for her to get a good look at you.
No, she saw me all right. She just hasn't had time to put a face with the name.
You give me the word. She never will.
Why are you looking at me like that? I know you must hate me for all the pain I've caused you, but I must tell you, I'm going back to England. As soon as I finish the mural and make the arrangements. Please say something, you're frightening me. No, you mustn't. I'm Sabrina, I'm not Franny.
I know exactly who you are. And I'm being honest with you and myself for the first time. I think a part of me knew all along that I was in love with you.
The Emmy Award winner, As the World Turns. This portion brought to you today by New Charmin Free, with no dyes, inks, or perfumes. And by Cascade, powder and liquid Cascade for virtually spotless dishes.
Yes. Either the coffee is exceptionally bad this morning, or Lila had already left her a hotel room when you called.
Wrong. It's the same old coffee. And Lila was there. She was just indisposed.
What does that mean?
It was exactly what I asked the guy who answered the phone. He said it meant she was in the shower.
Who is he?
Oh, some musical arranger. He sounded like a real smoothie.
Don't tell me. You hung up indignantly without even leaving a message.
What are you? Moonlighting as a mind reader these days, is that it?
Let's just say I've known you a long time, Casey, and your jealousy is one thing about our relationship I've been trying to forget.
Oh, really? Well, I had a Lulu of a nightmare at your house last night, and I remembered some things about our so-called relationship that I'd just as soon forget.
I'm sorry a bad dream is all you got out of 2 bottles of Chianti. But before your blood alcohol levels soared to double digits, we were having a pretty nice time. I'm glad that we can finally put all that stress behind us and just be friends like last night.
I heard you wanted to talk to me. Is that right?
Yes, well, I'm on the horns of a dilemma, and a very wise friend suggested that I talk to you.
Oh, good. I love dilemmas. Let me hear it.
I've received a very tempting offer from my father's hospital in Philadelphia.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. We'd hate to lose you, Taylor.
Well, I'm very glad to hear that, because I've been very happy here.
Ah, good, good. Why can't we get together and talk about it? I'd like to hear the offer. Perhaps the hospital can match it.
Fine, great. Well, I better get back to the lab.
Okay.
Listen, call her again, Casey, and don't hang up this time, no matter who answers.
Yeah.
So, how's Lila doing in New York?
How would I know?
You haven't talked to her?
No. She's too busy with her musical arrangements.
Yeah, you know, that's show business, I understand. Is that all that's driving you down here?
Yeah. No. I was just talking to Franny. I just feel sorry for her.
Why?
She and Seth called off their wedding.
They did when? I just got the invitation this morning.
How would I know? I don't know what happened. She didn't want to go into it.
Boy, what a family. That's just what my son needs, you know? This happening, and then Kim is running around with this television show working all the time.
John, I'm sure Andy's gonna survive this far. Fine. It's Franny that I'm worried about.
God, I don't understand.
I'm only just beginning to understand myself.
You love Franny.
Yes, I do love Franny. I always will. But I'm in love with you.
This can't be happening. I must be dreaming. If you felt that way, then...
Why didn't I tell you? I'm trying to explain. I didn't know myself. But someone who knows me better than anyone else in the world saw it happening and helped me to see it. I didn't want it to be true. How could I? I'd asked Franny to marry me. I cared for her. I loved her. I had made a commitment to her. How could I admit to her or to myself that I was falling in love with you? I should have told her. I owed it to Franny to be honest, no matter how painful. It would have been better than going ahead with plans to marry her when I was having these feelings for you. But it's always been so important to me to be responsible, to do the right thing.
That's one of the things I love most about you.
No, don't you see that those feelings of responsibility blinded me? They made me deny everything that I was feeling. I couldn't face the consequences. Telling Franny, having to call off the wedding, I couldn't. I couldn't. And then we made love that night at the pond.
You thought I was Franny.
Yes. Yes, that's true. But afterwards, when I knew it was you, and you reached out to touch me, my instinct was to pull back and let more of my anger out for what you had allowed to happen. But I couldn't.
You didn't want to hurt me.
This morning, My mother asked me if I could honestly just stand by and watch you walk out of my life forever. And I realized for the first time what my life would be like without you. And I knew my answer had to be no. I could never let you go. We're going to find a way to work this out, Sabrina. In spite of all the pain that I've caused Franny and everyone close to us because of my dishonesty.
No, you mustn't say that. You're trying to do the right thing.
Because I've been conditioned since I was 16 years old never to think of my own feelings first. You've been completely honest with me. Must have cost you a lot that night at the pond. To tell me how you felt when I was so angry with you, denying my own feelings.
No, I understood.
I'm not gonna deny my feelings any longer. I love you, Sabrina.
Oh, excuse me. Sabrina.
Kim, Franny wanted to be the one to tell you, but I think I'd better explain what you just walked in on.
I want to tell her. Please, could you leave us alone for a minute? I know this will come as a terrible shock to you. Franny didn't want to tell you right away because of all the strain.
Tell me what?
I wish Father and Franny were here.
Well, they're not. So maybe you'd better tell me what's going on.
Yes, I will. Yesterday, Franny and Seth called off the wedding. Well, yeah, I'm glad you told me. Sure. Okay, bye-bye. Something the matter? That was Bob. He's been at the hospital all night long. Thank you. He's had to stay with the patient, Lieutenant McCloskey's wife.
Gee, I hope it's not serious.
Yeah, I do too, but... Barbara, the thing he just told me. He told me that Franny and Seth have called off their wedding.
What?
Yes.
Wait a minute, it was supposed to be this Sunday.
I know.
What happened?
I have no earthly idea. I can't imagine why this would happen. I guess that's why Seth called and said he wanted some nights off. And
did he say if this was just a postponement?
Bob said it was definitely called off, but I just don't know why.
Well, I tell you, Lisa, if Franny and Seth don't feel sure about this, it's better that they called off. I mean, embarrassment or not. I wish I'd had the sense to call off my wedding to James. Think of the hell I'd be spared. The hell I'm still living through now.
Barbara, why did you bring up James Stenbeck just now? Are you afraid that maybe he's coming back to town, or is he back in town?
Lisa, I have no idea where James is.
Oh, I see. Then it's Paul, isn't it? Honey, you've been so nervous lately. Look, I know you must have been really disappointed when Paul said that he was going to go on to Hillsborough Prep without even coming home from camp.
Yeah, I was more than a little disappointed, believe me. But I ran into Hal last night, just by accident. And he was very kind. He told me that he was sure that James wouldn't come anywhere near here.
And it upset you to see Hal?
Yeah, upset me a lot. It reminded me of everything that we had before Margot snatched him away from me.
Now, Barbara, she really...
Oh, Lisa.
Oh, Shannon, honey.
I'm so glad that you're still here.
What's wrong? I thought you'd be out at the castle with Duncan.
Well, I was, but the island is crawling with cops. They're looking for evidence.
Evidence of what?
Murder. What? Yes. Duncan has been arrested on suspicion of the murder of that captain on James Stenbeck's yacht in Florida, Nigel Cromwell. But what's worse, they are now convinced that Duncan is the Falcon and not James Stenbeck.
You still deny that you were ever on board that yacht that Stenbeck chartered in Florida?
Aye. If I'd found that yacht, I would have committed murder, all right, but I would have killed Stenbeck, not one of his poor flunkies.
Detective Franklin, you have asked my client this question repeatedly, and each time he has given you the same answer. Now, if you continue in this line of questioning, I'm going to file for harassment.
Roy, I have a few questions, if you don't mind.
Yeah, be my guest.
Now, we were all there when Officer Costello found this behind the loosened stone in the wall of your bedchamber.
It's not mine. It was planted there to incriminate me.
By whom?
By the Falcon, by James Stenbeck, or one of his henchmen. If I'd hidden it there, don't you think I would have had the sense to put the stone back the way it belonged instead of leaving it stick out like that? It was put that way deliberately, can't you see that? So even the Oakdale police couldn't miss it.
Well, I understand that you have a coin similar to this
Not
Scottish
similar, damn it, that's it. That's the McKechnie ruckle.
Okay, gentlemen, if you're finished with your questions, I'd like some time alone with my client.
Yeah, sure. Take all the time you want. He's not going anywhere. Hey, Brunner, take, Mr. McKechnie back to his cell.
Well, I hope you're proud of yourselves, all of you. Putting an innocent man behind bars. Well, the Falcon continues to make fools out of all of you. You'll believe what I had to tell you one day. But not before Stenbeck has committed more crimes and done harm to more innocent people.
Did McKechnie confess?
Not hardly, Nick. You know, Nick, you got my vote as Rookie of the Year, spotting that loose stone in McKechnie's bedroom. It was like finding a needle in a haystack.
What can I say? I guess I just got a sharp eye. You know, the crew's out there right now at the castle. What do you bet they come up with more evidence that McKechnie's the Falcon?
No, but I gotta hand it to you. Everybody on the force thought it was Stenbeck. And here you are a rookie, and you're the only one that claimed you thought it was McKechnie all along.
Yeah, that's gonna be great.
Yeah.
I love this.
All right, well,
This is terrific.
thank you. Wait till you hear it with a band.
Oh.
Oh, they promised me some late rehearsal late this afternoon.
Uh-huh.
We may have to make it a long one.
Oh, that's all right. I'm ready for that. I really am. Yeah, Tony, I really appreciate all the work that you're doing on this. I mean, it's... you're gonna make me sound and look so good.
You don't need me to make you look good. Were you really a nurse? Or is that something Otis Sutton and some smart PR man cooked up?
No, I'm really a nurse. I'm just on a leave from the hospital, that's all.
It's hard to believe you're such a pro.
Oh.
You want some coffee? I'm gonna run down to the coffee shop.
Oh, well, you know, why don't we just call room service or
No,
something?
no, coffee shop's much better. Besides, I could use the stretch. Oh, if your mysterious caller calls back, tell him I'm harmless.
Yeah, well, I think I know who it was. I'll tell him if he calls back.
Well, hey, if you know who it was, give the poor guy a break and call him. He sounded very frazzled.
Lie, I think you should take this New York offer. But while you're there, don't forget my offer. Just remember that someone back home was crazy about you.
Casey, no matter what you say, the difference in our ages is a fact. It may not be important to you now, but one day it will be. You're young. Someday you'll want children, and that part of my life is behind me.
You're not listening to me. All I want is you for the rest of my life. And I think you feel the same, but you've been running away ever since Craig's plane went down. I just think you're afraid to love me for fear of losing me, too.
Looking for the illustrious singer from Oakdale, Illinois. Look at this place.
Oh, honey. Oh, what a surprise.
Well, I just got in from Miami, and I thought, stop by New York. Mama could use a friendly face.
Oh,
Look at this.
bet I can. Oh, honey.
You certainly are a beautiful woman.
Thank you.
And because you're such a pretty lady and I'm such a lonely guy, I think I better get out of here.
Tom, you got a minute?
Sure. Come on in.
think you could take off the DA's hat for just a minute and we could talk as one lawyer to another?
Have a seat.
I think Duncan's telling the truth. What do you think?
I think my gut instinct as a lawyer tells me you're right. But as DA, I can't disregard any of the evidence.
Oh, but it's all circumstantial, and that coin was obviously planted, as Duncan said. So what do I do, Tom? He's in a rage in there. He knows he doesn't belong in jail.
Well, I wouldn't want to be the one to tell him this, but I think you should let him stay there and cool off for a couple days.
Thanks.
Look, Jess. If Stenbeck is after him like he keeps insisting, then jail is the safest place for your client. If something else comes up that can be traced to the Falcon, Duncan's going to have an airtight alibi.
You think something else is going to happen?
I think things have been coming down too fast to stop now. I have this strange feeling.
What? Come on, are you onto something?
No, it's actually just a hunch. It's probably nothing. It's too wild to even talk about, but I'll tell you what. I'm going to follow up on this thing, and if I find out anything, I'll let you know.
Okay. Tom, how could you let this happen? How could you allow them to arrest Duncan when everybody except the Oakdale police knows that James Stenbeck is the Falcon?
Kim!
Good morning, John.
Oh, I'm glad I ran into you. I heard a rumor that the wedding, Franny and Seth's wedding, is called off.
It's not a rumor. It's true, and I don't want to talk about it.
I see.
Listen, I'm trying to find Bob. Do you have any idea where he is?
He's in ICU with the patient. Been there all night long. Listen, it's kind of rough, these jobs that the two of you have. I understand that the production meeting for your television show went on into the wee hours of the morning. It's got to be rough on a family, you know, when the mother or the father both have these high-pressure jobs.
Are you trying to make some kind of point here?
As a matter of fact, I am. I get a little concerned about Andrew. This news about Seth and Franny's got to be confusing to him, and there's no adult around for him to talk to about it.
Wait a minute. I just found out about the wedding myself this morning. Now, I doubt very much that Andy knows anything at all about it. And he's not on his own with no one to talk to, because if we're not there, Nancy is usually there. Oh, excuse me.
Wait a minute. I'm going on a medical convention to San Francisco tomorrow. I'd like Andrew to come with me if I could get him excused from school.
John, school just started. I don't think that's a very good idea. Besides, Kathy Evans is about to go away to boarding school next week, and I think he probably is going to want to stick around here for the last few days that she's home.
You mind if I ask him about it?
Be my guest. Excuse me, please.
Hi, I thought you were in meetings all day.
Well, I canceled. I talked to Sabrina.
Then you know.
Yes, I do. I'm having a very hard time believing all of this.
Me too. I keep thinking I'm going to wake up and find that it's all a bad dream.
Oh, sweetheart. Oh, my love. I just wish there was something that I could do to help you. I am very angry with Sabrina and Seth, both.
And now part 2 of As the World Turns.
Hi. Can I talk to you?
I have a class.
Well, I'll drive you out to the campus in the truck. We can talk then. Please.
All right, I want to talk to Kim first, so.
I'll wait.
I just wish you would have told me right away.
I figured it was the last thing you needed right now.
Oh, honey, listen. The day that stupid television show becomes more important to me than my family, that's the day I quit.
I don't know. I just didn't want to mess things up for you or Dad. There's nothing you could do. I didn't want to put you in the middle. Sabrina's your daughter, too.
Yeah. Oh, God, I just wish that I had seen what was going on before it went this far.
How much did she tell you?
Everything. That she had loved Seth for a long time, and then she let him make love to her.
I just had a session with Dr. Michaels, and after a lot of tears and anger, there was a moment where I was almost able to understand what Sabrina was feeling.
Well, I'd say that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, well, it was just a moment, disappeared as quickly as it came. It's funny, everybody's always been so amazed by the resemblance between Sabrina and me. I guess I just never realized the likeness went so deep.
How do you want to handle this?
Dr. Michaels advised me not to make any major decisions right now.
Well, I think that's very good advice.
Except for calling off the wedding. I have to call those.
Oh, honey, no, you don't. No. Your father and I will take care of that. Don't worry.
Thanks, Mother. I have to go, Doctor. I'll see you. Mother, I so hate telling you this. I know what you must think of me. But I love Seth with all my heart. And I think miracles do happen. Because just a short while ago, he told me he feels the same.
I just saw Franny and Seth leaving again. Does that mean that the wedding's still on?
No, John, it doesn't.
Hey, wait a minute. About Andrew going to San Francisco with me.
John, I don't want to talk to you about that. I've got to find Bob.
Listen, I want to talk to you about it. It's very important.
I don't. Now, will you stop hassling me about Andy? I've got enough to take care of. Just leave me alone.
Where did the arranger go?
Oh, well, he wanted to finish an arrangement for today's rehearsal, but he said I could have some time alone with you.
Oh, Mama, the last thing I ever wanted to do was interfere.
No, you're not, really. I mean, I have to take a break sometime.
I know, but I just don't want to interrupt anything. I mean, I know with your opening so close and everything.
Close. It's next week.
Oh, what's the matter with you? You're going to be great.
Well, I'm just a little nervous, I guess. I'm changing a whole career in the middle of my life. I mean, this is silly. Maybe Casey was right. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe I'm not doing the right thing. I don't know. It's crazy.
Have you talked to Casey?
No. Gee, I've had so much on my mind, working 18 hours a day and then trying to adjust to hotel living. You know, this place costs 10 times more than my mortgage back home. You know, and then crowded streets, the subways. Gosh, they stink.
What do you expect? Is the city? It's the Big Apple. Mama, that is really beside the point. You haven't had 5 minutes to call Casey?
Well, I don't think that I should. He hung up on me.
What?
Well, you see, I was taking a shower. Tony was here. He answered the phone, and he said the guy on the other side, on the end of the line, was kind of jealous, and by the time I got to the phone, he hung up. But I know it was Casey.
Yeah, I know exactly what it's like, though, when you make a phone call expecting to hear one voice and you hear a voice belonging to a different sex. Boy, I remember calling Tom and Barbara answering the phone. That's a lifetime ago.
Yeah, well, I remember that. And look at it. You and Tom worked that out. Solved the problem.
Well, like I said, that was a lifetime ago. Why don't you call Casey right now? But first, let me call the station. Call and see if anyone has found the Falcon while I was on the plane. Ted, hi, it's Margot Hughes. I'm calling from New York City. Is Hal there?
Hello?
Hi, Hal. It's Margot. How's it going?
It's not Hal. It's me, Tom. How you doing?
What the hell are you doing here?
Just let me explain, boss.
I told you to never come up here unannounced. Emily's here.
I know. I saw a car in the drive, so I waited until she and Paul were off in the boat. Believe me, nobody saw me. But I think you ought to take a look at this. The article quotes Duncan McKechnie as saying you're here in Oakdale and the police just haven't found your hideout yet.
He's been saying that for weeks. You came all the way up here to tell me that?
No, there's something else. I tracked down a rumor down at the station. Even got into a locked file in McCluskey's office. Hal Munson has been put on special assignment by the commissioner in McCluskey. His job is to find you. According to the file, he suspected you've been here ever since Emily got here. I told you, this guy is on the ball.
Yeah, maybe he followed you up here. Maybe he suspects you.
No, nobody followed me up here. But listen, I think you better get off to Ruxton Hills right away and speed this whole plan up a little bit.
Yeah, you let me do the thinking, Mr. Nick. Now get out. All right. Wait. Paul and Emily are coming up the path. Go out the back way.
All right, but listen, your face hasn't been in the paper in quite a while. Maybe that's why Sabrina...
Get the hell out of here now!
Dad, is that Nick's car parked down by the lake?
Who's Nick?
Barbara, I didn't look who's here.
Hi, Kim. I've been expecting you to call about my appearance on your new show.
Oh, golly, I'm sorry. Things have been so crazy. I haven't had a chance to do anything. I tell you what, why don't you come on over for lunch today? We'll run through it there.
Oh, gee, I'd really like to, but I can't. I'm very tied up. Why don't I stop by the studio later?
I'm not going to the studio. We have some family problems. Actually, that's why I'm here. I wanted to tell you both that Franny and Seth have called off the wedding.
We know. Bob called this morning and told us.
Oh.
Why?
Well, Lisa, I really can't talk about it. It's very personal. I just think
Fashions?
Oh, I'm so glad you answered. I don't have to disguise my voice.
Mr. Sanderson, how's Paul? It's, the headmaster at Paul's school, Hillsborough.
Paul is just fine. If you ever want him to come back home again, you're going to do two things for me right away. One, you're going to talk to that ex-lover cop friend of yours, Munson, and find out what he really knows about my whereabouts. Next, you're going to get over to Hugh's house and make sure that Sabrina doesn't see the special edition of today's Argus. It just came out.
Well, Mr. Sanderson, I'm not sure that I can do either of those things for you. I'm awfully busy right now.
You try real hard, Barbara, because if Sabrina sees that edition of the newspaper, you might lose yet another member of your family.
I knew if I waited long enough, you'd agree to see me.
You shouldn't have come here, Shannon.
Darling, how can you say that? I know you didn't kill Cromwell.
Aye, well, if you believe that, you're about the only one who does.
Excuse me, could we have a conversation in private, please? You've leveled with me. I know the worst about you and about myself. And I'm in love with a modern-day pirate. But I also know that James Stenbeck is the Falcon and that you could never murder anybody.
I thought you wanted nothing more to do with me in view of my efforts to secure my rightful inheritance.
You mean your smuggling operation? Well, I admit that did come as quite a jolt. But I asked you to be honest with me, and you were. And I didn't mean what I said, that you'd have to give it all up in order to be with me. I'd be with you no matter what. I really had no choice. I'm too much in love with you.
Oh, Shannon.
Tell me you love me.
Oh, you know I do. But what have I gotten you into? Stenbeck is here. You are in terrible danger.
I am not afraid of him.
Oh, don't be silly. He's already given you a warning.
Oh, you mean that tacky effigy?
Shannon, he's not going to warn you again. You know what he's capable of. And I can't protect you while I'm in here. You've got to leave town, lassie. You've got to leave Oakdale.
No way. How am I going to go after Stenbeck if I'm not here?
You're not going to go after Stenbeck. I'll
Duncan.
take care of Stenbeck.
Excuse me, my darling, but what can you do? The police aren't about to let you go. They think they have the Falcon, you, so they're not looking anymore. The way I see it, it's up to me and me alone.
I forbid it.
Duncan, I assure you I am more than a match for James Stenbeck, especially now that he's gotten me mad. Now, you say that you're sure that Emily and Babs know where he is, so that gives me a start.
No.
Duncan, you'll be so grateful when I've cleared you, my darling. Now, until then...
Shannon? Shannon, I forbid it!
Promise you won't be careful.
No! Shannon, you can't go!
Well, I'm flattered that you want to match the offer, John, but I might as well come clean. I want to stay at Memorial, and I've already called my father and told him so.
You give up your bargaining position when you do that, you know?
Well, I'm a doctor, not a lawyer.
Oh.
I hope you won't take advantage.
Who, me? No, not at all, not at all. As a matter of fact, I'd already submitted you for a raise.
Well, thank you. I am happy here, probably because you do such a great job of running the place.
Oh, thank you.
How's your daughter doing?
Okay, I guess. She's out of town right now on police business.
Any chance of her reconciling with Tom?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
Hi.
Boy,
Hi.
you look swell. You look wonderful. What have you been up to?
I've been in OR for 3 hours.
No kidding. Lila has the perfect prescription. She was telling me she's going to go over to the yacht club and take a swim during her lunch break. I suggest that you go along with her. Okay?
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go to the dorm and sack out.
Oh, come on. It's the last days of Indian summer here. Do you good. Cool off in the pool.
Yeah, come on. Get some heat, cool off in the pool. We like it both.
You do it or you don't practice medicine here anymore.
Maybe I'll go.
We're off. Bye, John.
Have a good time.
Bye.
Dr. Dixon, have you seen Dr. Peretti?
He just left, just now. Why?
Well, there's a phone call for him. Lila Montgomery.
Oh, I'll take it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hi, Phyllis. You have a call for Casey Peretti? It's Dr. Dixon. I'll take it for him. Hello, Lila. It's John.
John? I didn't expect to hear your voice. I was calling for Casey.
Yeah, well, he just this minute walked out the door. He's going over to the yacht club to have a swim with Dr. Baldwin.
Tom, what's got you so preoccupied?
Oh, I talked with Margot this morning briefly, very briefly, and I just can't seem to get my head straight. Yeah? Let him in. Your favorite detective.
Hey!
Hi.
How are you? Tom, here are the personnel files you requested.
Great, thanks.
Do you mind if I ask you what you want these for?
Well, Roy, I just figured the better I know everyone on the force, the better I'll be able to work with them.
Hey, is that a DA or what, huh?
Thanks.
You had lunch?
Is that an invitation?
What do you think?
Okay, let's roll.
Okay. Listen, Tom, I hope everything clears up.
Have fun, you two.
Sure will.
Costello. Nicholas.
I know you missed a class. Listening to me try to explain. I'm afraid I haven't done a very good job of it.
No, I understand everything you said. And I know it wasn't any easier for you to say than it was for me to hear.
It's not very easy to admit that you're so cut off from your own feelings that you hurt someone that you care so much about.
Well, I can't say that it doesn't hurt. It's going to take a while to get over. It's good that it happened now, though, rather than after we were married.
Think you'll ever be able to forgive me?
When I can be really objective, I can see that there's nothing to forgive. You fell in love with somebody who feels the same way about you. You didn't want to hurt me, so you didn't acknowledge it. Now you have. That's the way it should be.
I know this is going to sound selfish, but I hope I never lose you completely.
I think it's a little too soon to talk about any of that. You better go. I have a lot to do.
Honey, what can I say?
Nothing that you haven't already said. No, darling, there's no way in the world I'm going to go to the studio this afternoon. I canceled my meetings. I know. Well, when you come home tonight, we've got to sit down with Sabrina and Franny separately and try to talk through this whole thing. I love you, too. Okay. Listen, I know what you're up against today, so I'm not going to call back. All right, darling. See you later. Bye-bye.
Are you wishing that you'd never found me?
No, that's not what I'm thinking at all.
I wouldn't blame you if you did.
Sabrina, I am very concerned about your sister. I am also very angry. I am trying to withhold judgment until you can explain to me what the hell is going on around here.
Kim?
What? Oh. Sorry. I thought you said you couldn't make it.
Well, I decided to try to rearrange my schedule so we could talk about the show.
Sure, of course. As a matter of fact, I was thinking about you a little while ago. When I got home this afternoon, I found this copy of the Argus on my front porch.
Women's Fashions by Regina Porter. Menswear by Barney's New York. This is Dan Regent, inviting you to join us again Monday for the Emmy Award winner, As the World Turns.